I wanted to take a moment and remind you of something that you hear talked about all the time, but I don't think people really understand or utilize this highly valuable tool. Now, as you're learning content creation, you're going to find YouTube educators like myself and some of my contemporaries. They're going to say some of the same things over and over. And in many cases, you nod your head, you agree, you completely affirm what we're saying, but secretly, you don't necessarily understand what we are saying. The reason why I know this is because I see questions that I know that myself and other educators have covered time and time again. And I think what happens is sometimes the question is just because you're looking for a different answer, hoping somebody's going to give you an easier way. And sometimes it's you just don't really understand what it is that we're saying. And I get that. I hear things all the time when I'm watching YouTube videos where I think I have a precursory knowledge of what it is they're talking about, but I don't fully understand it. Well, lately, there have been such dope advancements in AI. There's ways for you to get these things explained to you. And I don't mean reading tons and tons of documentation. I showed you in a video recently how you could throw a bunch of these things at, say, Notebook LM and get a better, deeper dive on what's going on. So I'm going to give you an example right now. When it comes to this content creation thing, many of us talk about storytelling being paramount. And there's tons of videos about why you should learn to tell stories in your videos. And I know you heard it, but maybe you don't really know what we mean. And that's okay, because I'm going to show you using this phone right here. I'm just going to pop open ChatGPT and have it answer this question. There could be other subjects on this matter. You know, some of us are talking about creating hooks. Some of us are talking about, getting that engagement. And we use the term engagement all the time. I think some people don't really know what that engagement means. There's things in the analytics when people are mentioning CPMs or RPMs, and you don't know what that means. It's okay now. Now more than ever, you can just go to your model. In this case, I'm going to use ChatGPT, but this will work with Gemini or Meta or some of the other models that are out there. ChatGPT has just dropped 2 brand new models. There's a fully updated 4.0 model or 4o model, and there's a new O3 model, both of which are very good at multimodal reasoning. Now, there's another terminology that you hear all the time currently, and that's multimodal, and I don't think people really understand what that means. So we're going to use an example and see if we can help you better understand how to do this. And I'm going to even take a chance of breaking my memory because ChatGPT has memory. I'm not even going to switch into memory mode because I want you to see how it understands me because I've been talking to it forever. And if you're not getting the output that you feel you should be getting from your AI, it's probably, that's really weird to call it your AI, from your chatbot, it's probably because you're not giving it enough information to start to understand you. And similar to creating content, the more you use it, the more it will understand you. And even the free models have memory capabilities at this point. So there really is something that you should be doing. Have a conversation with it every day so it can start to understand what you want. So anyway, on my phone here, I have the chat version right there on the screen. If you don't know how to do that, let me know and I'll make a video showing you how I put it right there on the front screen. But let me go ahead and give it a tap. I am curious about something. In many of the videos talking about using ChatGPT and the other models like yourself, I hear people discussing multimodal all the time. Could you please explain to me from a very beginner's term what multimodal is and what are the key things I should know about it?
Sure, let's break it down. When people say multimodal, they're talking about AI that can handle different types of input and output, not just text. Think of it like a Swiss Army knife. It's versatile. For instance, a multimodal AI can understand and generate text, images, and even audio. So the key things to know are, it can work with multiple formats, and it's designed to give you a richer, more flexible experience.
There you go. That's just one of the main things. Now, I do have mine cranked up for speed because I feel like Juniper, who I picked, She does talk a little slow, so I do have mine set to talk fast. But let's just think of some other things we do. I'm going to start a brand new chat here. As content creation educators, we often talk a lot about storytelling. Can you explain why storytelling is important to content creation? And remember to explain it to my audience.
Absolutely.
Continue. Sorry, I cut you off. Continue.
No worries. Between you and your audience, it makes your message relatable, memorable, and engaging. Stories stick with people, helping them remember your content long after they've seen it.
Okay, so us content creators, we're often taught, especially those of us that educate, we're often talk about making something relatable. But sometimes I feel like my audience doesn't necessarily understand what relatable content is. Can you give me 3 examples of what relatable content would be, especially knowing what you know about me?
Sure. For your audience, relatable content could be sharing personal anecdotes about overcoming tech fears, discussing common struggles like balancing content creation with a day job, or giving practical tips on how to get started with minimal equipment. These examples resonate because they're authentic and relevant to their experiences.
Okay, I think another question that I have for you, especially related to my audience, is I feel like there's some hesitation or pushback to use AI because I don't feel like they're getting the responses that they want. What are some tips and tricks that I could teach my audience to make sure that they're getting the best responses, say from ChatGPT?
Great question. To help your audience get the best responses from AI tools like ChatGPT, they should be clear and specific with their questions, provide context where needed, and experiment with rephrasing if the initial answer isn't quite right. Encourage them to treat it like a conversation, tweaking prompts and providing feedback to refine results.
This is very, very good. Could you explain what CLEAR is, the acronym CLEAR, when it comes to like a framework for prompting?
Absolutely. CLEAR is a framework for creating effective prompts. It stands for context, length, example, audience, and refinement. Context means giving background info so the AI understands the situation. Length refers to the desired response size. Example means providing a sample to guide the AI. Audience is about specifying who the response is for. And refinement means tweaking prompts based on the output.
Could you give an example of a bad prompt and then a corrected prompt that will give a good output? Let's say we're talking about finding ideas for a YouTube video. Create a bad prompt for that and a good prompt for that.
Sure. A bad prompt might be, give me ideas for a YouTube video. It's vague and lacks direction. A corrected prompt would be, I'm a content creation coach focusing on helping Gen X creators start a podcast. Can you suggest 3 video ideas that address common struggles they might have? This gives context, audience, and direction.
Okay, cool. With that second prompt, the good one, go ahead and give me what the results with that would be. So in other words, go ahead and run that prompt and read out the results. She's thinking.
Certainly. Here are 3 video ideas to help Gen X creators start a podcast. 1. Overcoming Tech Fears, a beginner's guide to podcasting. Address technology related challenges like using recording equipment or editing software with step by step instructions. 2. Finding your niche, how Gen X creators can stand out. Explore how to choose a niche that resonates with tips on identifying unique topics and building a dedicated listener base. 3. Balancing act, managing time between content creation and daily life. Discuss balancing podcasting with other responsibilities, offering time management tips and realistic goal setting.
That is really good. Going back to the prompting example, could you create an image that I could use to show the results of good and bad prompting? And maybe in that image, give some practical advice on how to get better results from ChatGPT.
I can't create images directly, but I can guide you on what to include. For the image, you could split it into 2 sections. On one side,
See, that one is better done typing it like directly into the browser version. But I just wanted to reiterate this tool. I think so many people are missing how incredible talking to your phone is. Let me know down in the comment section, in the comment section below, have you been using ChatGPT voice? If not, what's holding you back? I'm super, super curious what's holding you back. And maybe it's not about ideation. Maybe it's just understanding more the things you hear us say that you don't understand. At this point in time, you know, we're going to be talking about audio or something, and I'm going to talk about why you need to get your low pass frequency or your high pass frequencies. If you don't understand that stuff, fam, pop open that chat and ask homie to explain it to you, or in my case, homegirl. Trust you me, it will help you go a long way. You can have it help you learn all myriad sorts of things. And again, don't forget the other tools like Notebook LM. Again, I made a video about it recently. But yes, I am super curious. Are you utilizing this fresh AF tool right now? When we say fresh to death, how many of you guys are old enough to remember fresh to death? This tool is fresh to death. You can basically ask it just about anything. And with the new models that just dropped, you're going to get better answers. Maybe you haven't touched it in a while because the experience in the older models was, a little bit mid. But I can't believe I just said that. Don't tell my niece I used one of her words. They were a little meh or average. But now these guys are incredible. The stuff that they come up with in class this week, I was teaching my people how to use marketing frameworks to get better results. And the outputs were phenomenal. Like everybody was basically borderline freaked out at the coolness that can come out. So again, that was just a quick reminder and a walkthrough of how you could use the voice of your models. Now, again, that's using chat. I believe, of course, Gemini will give you a very similar thing. Claude isn't up on a voice model yet, but it has recently got internet search. But yes, go and give it a try. And also remember that in the phone app itself, let me pop it back open. Let me crank a new chat. At the very top, you can click on the model and you can select various models. So this new O3 model or Omni model is one of the best multimodals out there. So if you wanted to throw a bunch of images at it and then have it explain to you those images and then have a conversation about those images in order to say like decipher some charts or, read a diagram or something, that one's going to be a little bit better at that. But I tend to just use the 4o model because it's the most well-rounded. And now that it has reasoning and deep research. And yeah, if you got questions about this stuff, fam, please drop that down in the comment section below. I do not want to see anybody in the LGL family sleeping on this tool. So again, if you're stuck and you don't know where to start, holla at me. I'll make up some prompts for you. I'll get you started because I want everyone to jump on this bandwagon. Don't let this pass you by. Don't let this be one of those things you wish you had to learn back in the day. I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's what folks always say. Who remembers that song? If you remember that song, then you're old. But yes, I just wanted to give a quick demonstration. It just popped in my head. I was doing my little walkabout and this popped in my head because you know what I was doing? I was walking around the block having a conversation with ChatGPT. And I don't even care that people look at me strange because they're like, oh, I could do that too. Like I'm showing this trick to everybody. Trust me, I'll be using it a lot when I go to Mexico next week because my Spanish is not as good as it should be. How about that? If you like this video, press the like button, press the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you never miss another video. If you want to see more AI content, throw a little robot icon down there in the chat below. And yeah, answer any of those above questions I had. Are you using it? How are you using it? Where do you feel stuck? What do you need to learn more? I want to help you get it started. And family, go talk to your bots. Right about now, the algorithm is going to show you another video they think you should watch. I agree with them.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk.